I'm Lauren Goebel, Georgia Farm Bureau's Ag in the Classroom Coordinator, and I am super excited to be up here in Northeast Georgia in Hart County with Brian Fleming with PTL Ag. Brian, thank you so much for letting us come out here today, and I know we're all excited to learn a little bit more about what you do on the farm. And so the first thing I want to know is, what else do you grow on your farm besides soybeans?
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks for having me. In a normal year, me and my dad and the guy that works for us, a very close friend, we grow soybeans, corn, grain sorghum or milo, wheat, oats, black oats. We grow a little bit of everything year round.
So Brian, we want to know a little bit more about soybeans. I know there's a big process into it, and there's certain times that you have to plant and harvest. So will you start by telling us when you plant the soybeans and what all you do to get those in the ground?
Yes, we normally start planting sometime in the early to middle of May, and it runs all the way through probably the first week of July that we're actually planting. The earlier beans we plant most of the time on 30-inch rows, and we plant them on 30-inch rows because they normally don't go through the exact same weather as a crop planted behind wheat or oats or something like that. So we plant them on a little bit wider row, and the field we're actually in right now, I don't know if the camera can get it, but it's on 30-inch rows. So it's a wider spacing, less seed per foot. So it's got more room to grow. And as the year goes on, we change over to 15-inch rows and plant them a little bit closer together, a little bit more seed, because that's going to go through the real hot part of the summer and dry spells when it gets hot in about August and stuff, and they're going to be smaller. So you put a little bit more seed out and stuff like that.
So when it gets time to harvest, I'm assuming you use a combine. You mentioned that earlier. And how many rows can your combine harvest at one time?
We actually run two combines. We run one big combine. It's John Deere with a 30-foot header. So what we do is come through with a 30-foot head and harvest it. And we have another smaller combine that runs 18-foot header. And where we farm at is we have a couple big fields that 30-foot header and big combine work great in, but we also have fields that are 5 acres. And when we go up the road with the big combine, we have to take the header off and transport it and everything. With the smaller combine, smaller header, we can drive the combine straight into the field with the header on it and finish the field before we could even get the header on the bigger combine. So, but on that, we have a 30-foot head and an 18-foot head. On these 30-inch rows, we can run what's called a row crop head. And that row crop head actually goes down each individual row and just harvests the row, as to where a 30-foot header, it's going to cut 30 foot no matter where it's at. And on the row crop heads, we have an 8-row and a 6-row row crop head. But normally we don't run those in soybeans unless the beans are really short. If for some reason they get stunted by a drought or anything like that, we run a row crop head because it actually picks the beans up better and you don't lose as much off the actual header itself.
Because if you lose those soybeans, that means less money in your pocket.
That means less money in the pocket, and that's not what you want.
That's right. So you're going to harvest these beans in, you said, about 2-3 weeks?
Probably about 2 weeks.
All right, so the combine comes through, and there are a lot of beans out here. So I know you're not going to put them like in a little 5-gallon bucket and take them to the store. So explain to us what happens after the combine comes through and gets these beans, and kind of how they get to the processing plant.
Well, as we're combining, we have tractor trailers and 4 hopper bottoms. So,
all right, what's a hopper bottom?
A hopper bottom is just like a big trailer, okay, and it's got divided into 2 sections, and each section has its own door in the bottom. So when we harvest, we will fill that trailer up with soybeans, and when we get it full, we'd normally take ours to Gainesville, Georgia, to Cargill, and they'll crush them and make soybean oil like you buy at the grocery store. They'll take the mill and feed chickens and stuff like that. So they do so many things with soybeans you wouldn't imagine. I mean, you just go to the grocery store and pick up a box of anything and look on the back, and I'm guaranteeing you it's probably got some type of soybean in it, either oil or meal. So we fill those hoppers up, and when we take them, you pull up on a big pit. It's just a big hole in the ground, and you open those doors, and all the soybeans come straight out of the trailer into the ground, and they auger them into a grain bin, a storage facility.
So after you've come in and you've combined all the soybeans, you got them ready to go, about how many loads do y'all take to Gainesville in a normal year?
On a normal year, and it depends, like you said, it varies from year to year depending on the yield of the beans, probably somewhere in a 30 range.
Well, Brian, we are very thankful that you let us come out here today and see your soybean farm, and I think the kids will be interested to know about how many items have soybeans. So when you do go to that grocery store, look at the back of your box and see what ingredients are on there. And if you see anything with the word soy, Brian and a lot of other farmers across our country are growing those soybeans to make the foods that we enjoy every day. And Brian, thank you so much for what you do to provide food for us. We know it's not an easy job, and we just really appreciate what you do to keep us fed.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate everything that everybody does to support us.
Yes, so we always love our farmers. So if you see one, make sure you thank them, and join us next time when we're on another virtual field trip. Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed the interview I did with Brian Fleming at PTL Ag. I know I did, and I also know that I learned a lot of new things about soybeans. Something else I learned about soybeans when I left was that the first soybeans were planted in Savannah, Georgia in 1765. Today in Georgia, there are over 160,000 acres of soybeans planted every year. One of the things Brian also told us is a lot of the foods and products we use have soy in them. So when I got home yesterday, I went straight to my pantry and looked at the different foods that we have in there. Take a look behind me. Do you recognize any of these foods? I bet you do. And I bet you'll be surprised just like I was to find out that Fruit Loops have soybeans in them. Even Oreo cookies have soy in them. One fun thing you can do today when you get home is ask your mom and dad for you to go in the pantry and look to see how many foods you have in there list soy as an ingredient. I think you'll be as surprised as I was. Now I bet you're wondering, why is this cute puppy dog in my lap? This is Annabelle, and I got to thinking, well, if my human food has soy in them, I wonder if her dog food does. Guess what I found out? The dog food that Annabelle loves to eat also has soybeans in them. Isn't that interesting? Well, that got me to wondering what kind of ingredients are in my chicken feed. And you guessed it, soybeans are even in my chicken feed. I hope you learned a lot about soybeans and that also you have an appreciation for the farmers in Georgia. Agriculture is our largest industry, and we definitely need to support those that grow the food and fiber that we use every day. I hope you'll join us on the next virtual field trip. Who knows where we're going? Stay tuned to find out. Y'all have a great day. See you later.